All right, it is 9/11, and where was I on 9/11? I was actually working in Oregon for a company named Treetop. They're famous for their apple juice. And I was working the grave shift. It was 6 a.m., or I'm sorry, it was 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I had just gotten off of work, and I walked into the cafeteria, and I saw a bunch of people sitting in the cafeteria. They were getting ready for the shift. And I looked over, and there was a guy messing with an antenna because we used to have an old box TV with an antenna. So he was messing with it, and all you could see was static, and it was starting to clear up where you could see some the news. And I looked over at one of the ladies who I had known for several years since I was a kid, and she told me that America was under attack and there were planes crashing into buildings. At this point, I thought there were planes crashing all over the United States, into buildings all over the United States in every major city. I remember walking out with the crew of guys that I was working with, and they all started talking about going to war. I still didn't know what was going on, but they were all like talking about fighting back. And I hurried up, got in my car, found the news station so I could listen to. At that time, I had just started dating my kid's mom, and she was living on state line between Washington and Oregon. So I drove to her house while listening to the radio, and I remember I had one of those old Nokia cell phones that had just come out, and I called her up, and she was already up watching the news, and she had gotten off the phone with her mom, who was living in Seattle at the time. And so she was worried that Seattle was also being attacked. Like I said, at that point, we thought every major city was being attacked. I get to her house, go inside. She's sitting there on the couch watching the news, and we just sat there. She was getting ready for work. I was just barely getting off of work, and I remember I was sitting there. At that point, both the towers had been hit, and then they announced the Pentagon, and then the other Flight 93, and then they went back to the towers, and then you could see like people jumping. It was live. People were jumping from the building live. That's the craziest part, the image that stuck in my head, just watching people jump. And then we saw the towers fall. It's crazy how I remember every single detail of that day, but it's stuck in my head. Just getting off of work on grave shift, driving to state line, Washington and Oregon, and sitting there on the couch watching it live. It's crazy. A week before 9/11, I had actually just come back from visiting my mom in Mexico, and then a week later, all flights were shut down. Where were you on 9/11?